Hey, what's up? I'm good at the game that I play, and I'm entertaining enough.
The real question is, would you drink Fireball out of Ludwig's concave chest?
Dude, I mean, if I have to, I will.
Welcome, everyone, to Speed Dates. In the latest episode, today we're having Emerldd, the Sonic Adventure 2 speedrunner. Why don't you introduce yourself? Hello.
Hey, what's up? So yeah, my name is Emerldd. I'm a Sonic Adventure 2 speedrunner, and I'd say also like streamer / content creator. But that is my main deal. I've been speedrunning the game since like 2016. So yeah.
I was about to ask, when did you get into speedrunning? And following that is, what got you into speedrunning?
Yeah, so I'd say getting into speedrunning, I found Twitch in 2013, and the very first stream that I saw was Worcester's stream. Pokemon speedrunner. He's been around forever. And I was like, wait, people play games like this quickly for, you know, and like they're competitive about it? That sounds so fun. And then that obviously sent me down the rabbit hole of just speedrunning in general. And then I found Narcissa's stream back in the day when she was doing like Wind Waker and stuff. And Ocarina of Time. Actually, it was more so Ocarina of Time back then. And then I eventually found Talon, who was like one of the biggest Sonic Adventure 2 speedrunners like ever. And he is like kind of the guy who just like kind of blew up from Sonic Adventure 2. And that is kind of what got me into being like, because that was one of my favorite games. I started playing Sonic Adventure 2 when I was like 6. I was like, man, I would love to try to speedrun this game. This is like one of my favorite games. And that's like kind of the story I think for a lot of people is like they see like their favorite game for people or like their favorite game on Twitch or something. And like, they're like, wait, people speedrun this? That's so fun. I want to try that. And so I did. Yeah. And that's pretty much like the rest is history, honestly. So
yeah, it's like a new way to experience your favorite game as a kid. I feel like that's what it is for a lot of people. They're just like, oh yeah, I thought, you know, I got all the achievements, I beat all the levels, I thought I was done, but there's a new way, and it involves going through walls.
Yeah, and little do they know that they could spend thousands of hours doing that, because I've put in. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, how many attempts do you actually have in Sonic Adventure 2? I think that run is about 30 minutes.
I have a lot, and I actually have a lot more than other people in the community who have done runs because of my lack of practicing when I was kind of newer. I just did runs. But I have close to 20,000 attempts of just Hero Story. And I think I might actually have more than that because I had older splits that had my attempts, and then I made new splits. And I think before that I was close to like 3K attempts. And it's because it's reset heavy is like one of the big things. And I was really bad at one of the tricks at the beginning of the game called City Escape Skip. It happens within the first like 30 seconds, but it saves like 25. So if you miss it, it's kind of like, dang, I'm just going to be behind for like the whole run unless I like hit this trick.
25 is huge.
Yeah, especially in a game like that. For sure, when it's that short. So that's where I was so bad at that skip. I'm way better at it now, but that was where a majority of my resets were, for sure.
Sonic Adventure 2, how would you describe that speedrun in terms of like tricks? To give me like a triangle of like tricks, movement, RNG. Where would you put Sonic Adventure 2?
Do you mean like for difficulty, or do you mean just like in general, like the different aspects of it?
Yeah, just in general, just like how much RNG is in there. How much of it is RNG based, movement based, or trick based? I feel like that's usually the triangle of where games tend to lie.
Yeah, that's fair. I think for Sonic Adventure 2 Hero Story, it's mostly movement. I will say, like, you're gonna save a majority of your time from being good at movement, and then once you get to that top level, the tricks matter more. Because like the tricks, like there's like City Escape Skip saves like 25 seconds. There's a really hard trick called Green Forest Wall Run where we run up a tree and skip like a whole spring section, and that saves about 12 seconds, which is not as much, but it's still like a good chunk of time. So like those tricks will matter way more at top level when you need to hit them all, because there's like close to like one trick per level that'll save like a chunk of time, kind of similar to that. So I would say there are like the tricks do matter, but they're not going to matter until you're good at the movement. That's like, because we recommend all of the newer players like focus really hard on movement before doing these tricks, because at the end of the day they're going to lose that chunk of time that they just saved doing that trick to either setting up the trick or their bad movement afterwards. So and then RNG actually does play a pretty solid role in the run. There is 5 knuckle stages that we have to play, and they're all RNG based. And if you guys aren't familiar with like how knuckle stages go, they're treasure hunting stages where there's 3 pieces that you have to find, whether they're emeralds or keys, and there's like 100 different locations per level of those pieces, and they're randomly generated every time you go in. And there's like ways that you can like get around that by kind of like learning hints and learning how pieces spawn, like the math kind of around it, like whatever. But it is a big factor, and it can take a lot of time off of your runs, and like even top level runners could lose like a minute to getting bad RNG. So
Wow, and a minute in, you know, a 30-minute game is incredible. That's probably, you know, what are you off of your sum of best by? Like 2-3 minutes total? So there goes.
Well, that's, so to be fair, like that's not per stage. Let me just say that you won't lose like a minute of time in one stage from bad RNG.
But a minute at a time, like total, is still, you know, that's a quarter of your time save.
Yeah, it'll definitely, yeah. And if you get bad RNG, especially at top level, your run's dead. You have to accept that like your good run is now officially bad because you just spent like 30 extra seconds on a stage when you weren't supposed to, because you just got bad RNG.
It's just hidden away.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite thing about running the game? Like, what drew you to it when you picked Sonic Adventure? Was there some kind of movement, some trick or glitch that you were just like, this is the coolest thing?
Yeah. So Sonic Adventure 2 is cool in a sense of like the speedrun of it is fast. Now, like that sounds so silly, but there's speedruns of games that don't necessarily look fast. You know what I mean? But like with Sonic, I mean, literally like the whole point of Sonic is to go fast, you know? It's so cheesy and dumb, but it's true. So like the movement for it looks so smooth and it's so quick, and it's just like seeing people play the game, like watching like the best player of Sonic Adventure 2, Dage 4, watching him play the game is literal art. He is so much better than everybody else, myself included, for sure. And like as like trying to do something similar to that, or even just getting like kind of good at the game, like you just feel like a lot cooler. I don't know, like it just feels cool to get good at the game, for sure.
When coming from someone who has never watched Sonic before I started watching your stream, I've actually noticed the game almost looks like snappy to me. Is that like, I've never played Sonic like casually either. I've never seen that game before until I started watching you running it recently. How much of the game do you feel is like snappy, or does it actually become like a fluid thing for you? Because I see it, I'm watching, you're going straight, and then you're just left, and then it's right, and it's just like, oh my god.
I would say that it really looks more snappy when you get better at the game, because I think if you were to just pick up Sonic Adventure 2 just like playing the game, it feels clunky. It feels like more like loose, not really like tight, because like even like doing a spin dash in that game, because everything is mapped to an action button, they have to like wait for you to hold the B button for a certain amount of time before Sonic charges a spin dash, because you could be pressing B for like some random thing that's around you to pick it up, or to just be somersaulting, which is just like a tap. So the game actually has to make sure you're holding the button long enough that's like, oh, he wants to charge a spin dash. You know what I mean? But that's just specifically for Sonic. If you're doing it with like Knuckles, like he'll always just like punch instantly, or Tails, he'll just shoot instantly. But like, I think it just looks that way when you get better at it. But it definitely has some like flaws in the way that like it feels like as a casual game, or just like in general the game feels, you know?
So you're saying like it actually is just like a clunky game, but when you start speedrunning it, the clunk becomes
More fluid.
less. Yeah, it becomes fluid. Okay.
Yeah.
My next question was what is like the hardest thing in that game? Just like in general, what part of the run do you feel that you have to just constantly reset on?
The thing that I think is the worst is being consistent at the tricks that save that time, because
As you were talking about earlier, yeah.
But I think it also could vary per player. I think, like, if we're talking about very generally, I think the hardest thing is being consistent at the tricks in the game. But also, there's 3 different play styles of characters that you're playing throughout the run, because there's the speed characters, the mech characters, and the treasure hunting characters, and they all have very unique play styles. So what happens oftentimes is one player like will be really good at one. Like, for example, my best character is Tails. I'm very good at the mech characters. That is like far and away like my best character, but my worst is probably my Sonic, because I haven't spent as much time practicing it as other people. So that varies player to player, but if generally, again, it's the consistency on the tricks, because you could like make it really far in a run to Crazy Gadget, which is one of the last stages that you play, and you miss the trick Crazy Gadget skip CGSS, and then your run's dead. That's it. It's over. So it's like hitting that trick like in the moment like that is really hard. But there's at all of the space stages, there's a major skip like right at the end of the game. So I think that would be the hardest.
Have you ever had a run that got to like that skip that you failed, that was like the term I'm looking for is kind of soul crushing? Have you ever had a run that you truly felt like this was the run and you missed that trick and were just destroyed?
Definitely.
Because I know, yeah.
Go ahead. What were you saying?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I know there's some other games like Bowser throws. Bowser throws are really easy to get isolated, sort of. They're kind of hard. But then, you know, your heart's pumping, you're at them, you're doing it, you're in the moment, and you just drop it.
Yeah. I mean, hey, that happens to everybody. You know, that's like with any speed game, there's definitely a point in the run where you could just like lose it. And I've definitely had runs that were on crazy pace, like really far ahead, and then I just would fail. Like, I've never had one that's been super notable, because I have the mindset, and I think Sonic Adventure 2 as a game kind of teaches you to have this kind of mindset, but like no run is set in stone. Like, you could feel like you're on the greatest pace of a lifetime, but if you get too attached to a run, you're just going to be disappointed by potentially even like RNG. You know what I mean? Like, it's only like up to execution up until you pass the last RNG stage, which in SA2, you know, it's just like there was a runner that I was talking to actually recently. His name's Tylenol. Very good runner. He has a top 10 time. He's like, you know, the reason why I stopped playing this game was because like I had such a bad run with like in one of my execution stages, but then my next RNG stage I was ahead of like my time by like a lot, because I had just saved so much time there. But then the next stage, the next boss fight, the egg golem fight, hardest boss fight in the game, I lost so much time there, and it was just such a roller coaster of emotions. He was just like, I couldn't deal with it. It's too much. Like that roller coaster of emotions for a run, you have to have a very specific mindset for it. So I just don't get too attached. I really don't have any soul crushing runs, because I just have to forget about it and just do the next attempt.
You just don't get attached. I guess it might be easier to not get attached when the run's only like, you know, so fast. What is the world record currently? I know you are 11th or 12th place.
Yeah, I'm 11th now. Just 11th. Recently. And
nice. Congratulations.
Thank you. But the world record is a 2140.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and I have a 2301 for reference.
This is a little off time. What's the sum of like the best sum of best in that game?
I think somebody like Aiden, who's second, he might have like a higher 19, but you know, still a 19 sum of best.
But there's still only like 2-3 people with 19 sum of best.
Yeah. I think probably Trader, who's third place, you know, probably has that as well. Okay. But not many people have that. No.
That's insane. because I was looking at that game just in general before I had you on the show. It has about 600 submitted runs.
Yeah,
which
very
is
big
incredible.
speed game.
I think it's 60 something place on the like SRC leaderboard for most active games, which is huge. That's extremely popular. What do you think are the biggest things that bring new players into that game? Like, what do you think that game has that really makes it shine? And is it the Chaos?
It honestly, you want the real answer? Yes, I believe it is the Chao. And you know that sounds so silly, but it is one of the games that I think casually a lot of people remember. And it might be because of the Chao, and then they might be like, okay, well, let me just check out this game. Like, I haven't seen this game in years, and then they find like the speedrun of it, and they're like, whoa, the speedrun's kind of sick. But like, I think that's the biggest thing is like Sonic Adventure 2 is one of those big games from people's childhoods that like a lot of people remember, and a lot of people have played it at least at some point in their life. So that is honestly one of the things that draws people in is literally the Chao. So I can't fault it for that. It's true.
Can you explain to me what a Chao is? I actually have no idea.
Yeah, so they're these little animal creature things that are just like little blobs of goop, basically.
Like little slimes.
And you raise them. You just like in Sonic Adventure 2, and actually in a few of the other games too, like the first Sonic Adventure, Sonic Advance, you have the ability to raise these Chao and just give them like different stats with different animals that you can find throughout the game. That's part of the adventure.
Is it like a mini game, or is it just like is it like a third, like a story mode, something else, and then like Chao farm?
It's almost its own thing, because it's like you don't bring them into the story at all. Like like I said, you get animals and stuff from playing the stages to give them stats and stuff, but otherwise they have their own Chao garden. It doesn't affect the normal gameplay. They get emblems specific to them, which is like I guess you could like consider them stars in a way, like in like the Mario comparison would be like emblems or like stars. So you get specific emblems for completing Chao challenges, like the Chao races and Chao karate, where they fight each other, which is always funny.
I felt like I had to bring up the Chao at some point, because if I'm being completely honest, I knew that the Chaos were in that game more than I knew that Sonic was in that game.
Yeah, no, that's a lot of people.
To some degree.
That's a lot of people, and that's why I said when you brought it up as a joke, I can't even pretend it's a joke because it's real. It's so true. And you know what the funny thing is about me, and I know a lot of people are gonna hate on me for this, is I don't like Chao. I don't really care too much about them. I think they're cute. I think they're adorable. I love them. Look, I have a Chao charm right here on my mic.
Oh, is that what that is? I've been wondering.
This is like, so like on either side I have like different like variations of like a hero Chao.
That's adorable.
Which is cute, right? And like I love Chao for that. But when I was a kid, I was like 6 years old playing the game. I saw these stats and level up things when I gave the Chao animals, and I was like, I don't get it. And then I went back into my little Sonic and Shadow levels, and I just played the speed stages and had a good time. That was it.
Yeah, you just wanted to go fast. You're just classic go fast guy.
Yeah, and I think that's partially why I was drawn to speedrunning, is because I just wanted to go fast in the Sonic games, you know?
Yeah. I'm honestly always been kind of surprised that Mario is like the definitive speedrun game. I feel like Mario and Zelda, and not Sonic, the guy literally designed to go fast. That's his catch line. It's gotta go fast, and it's just like.
You want to know the real answer for that? It's because Sonic games suck. let's be real. Like, okay, I love Sonic, right? I think Sonic games are like, some of them are sick, but they'll never make a game as impactful as any Mario game, and that's why.
Damn.
That is why, because everybody has played the Mario games. There's definitely quite a few Sonic games that people won't even play because they're just like, oh, Sonic games are just bad. You know,
my first Sonic game was the one on the Wii, Sonic and the Secret Rings or something like that.
Oh, worst, actually, no joke, my least favorite Sonic game ever that I've ever played is that game.
That's what I've heard. And that's basically the only Sonic game I've ever played. And
I'm sorry.
Sonic Air Riders. I loved that game. Actually.
Yeah, Sonic Riders is sick. Not the Kinect one. There is one that you can play with the Kinect. That's by far one of the worst games also.
I played it on the GameCube.
Okay, yeah. That one's a good one. That one is the good one.
Good stuff. I always thought it was really weird. It was like, I remember having a moment when I was playing the game as a kid where I fell off my rider, and I was just like, why isn't he just running? Aren't I Sonic? Just run.
Dude, he's got to keep it fair. It's a competition.
I guess. That always just like hurt me on an emotional level. But moving on. So you do run Sonic. You think Sonic games suck. What game do you, if you could go back and become a speedrunner of any game and like that was your focus? I ask everyone this question because it's kind of interesting. What game do you think you would pick?
So part of me actually wants to say that I wouldn't change it, but I actually do have an answer for this. Just because although I do say Sonic games suck, I think Sonic games as speed games are so sick. They're incredibly sick. The movement is always good. Fair. Yeah, the skips are always sick. They're just visually great speed games. But if I had to pick one, it would definitely be Wind Waker.
Wind Waker?
Yeah.
Is there something that draws you to that game? You know, similar to the movement in Sonic?
So not actually for the speed run really. It's more so about just like my nostalgia for the game, because Wind Waker is actually my favorite game of all time.
It's a pretty good game.
Yeah, and I love the HD version, and I still have aspirations of maybe trying to learn the run of that game one day, but manual super swim, dude, it's so rough. I put hours into it. I have the game. I've tried to learn it. I literally was like, okay, well, I got to learn this skip eventually. Like, I know there's categories where you could run without it. But I don't want to do that. Exactly. It's not the same. I want to like be competitive in the main category any percent. And I just can't do the trick. But to be fair, I've only put in like maybe like 8 hours into it, but that's still a lot of time to just like not get it like it,
only
even once.
A full day's work.
Yeah, it's like I put in like so much time just to even get like a half charge on MSS, and I just couldn't. I wasn't consistent enough at it, so I was like, I don't know if I can do this, especially consistently.
And it's crazy because I feel like if MSS was at a different point in the run, people might get over it, but it's the first thing you do. So I've been trying to compare this kind of barrier to other things, right? You know, how much time do you put into Sonic now, right? You said 20,000 attempts. You've probably put way more than 8 hours into Sonic before you finally got pretty decent at it.
Definitely.
But you could play Sonic, you could do a run before you were any good, and you cannot complete a Wind Waker run until you're good at it, because you can, but you're just losing. You're not doing the same run. It's not the same.
Yeah, Sonic is very unique in a sense of like, I think it's great as like a beginning speed game because you don't have to know all the tricks to finish the game, and like just like you just play it. That's it. But like with a Zelda game, especially Wind Waker, you have all these sequence breaks where you have to like skip several like minutes, sometimes even hours of time. And if you can't perform the skip, then you're just significantly slower than the rest of the competition, and then it's not even that fun.
Yeah, you're still speedrunning in a sense. You're still playing the game and beating it with a timer. You're speedrunning, but once you get rid of those things that really make it a speedrun, I feel like it changes the dynamic. You're not doing the same thing. If I see a guy going through a dungeon casually as fast as he can, that normally we can just skip, and calling it any, just glitchless or whatever, but they're doing it as an any percent. It looks to me like they're just doing a different speedrun. It doesn't feel like it's the same thing. Not saying that you shouldn't do that if that's what you want to do.
Yeah,
I don't want anyone coming after me for
have fun with games the way you want to have fun with them. It's okay. Exactly. But if you're trying to get something more out of it and be competitive and whatever, it's not, you have to learn the tricks.
Yeah. That brings me on a whole other topic that I don't really want to get into right now, about being competitive and how competitive drives people. But there's a lot of people who run Sonic Adventure 2. What can you play that on? I think people play it on Steam.
Yes. So that is the main way we play it, is the Steam version. It's the fastest with loads, and it also is the best for like having tools and stuff. Like we have an auto splitter, which is huge. We have
That's super nice.
Yeah. We have like save state-esque tools that are like, they don't work exactly like a save state, but it's the same kind of idea. Gives you like a tool that gives you 99 lives, stuff like that. You can play it on any version you really want to, because we actually do the leaderboards based on in-game time. So theoretically, you could run on GameCube and still not be at a disadvantage compared to somebody who's on PC. But generally, people run it on PC because it's the most accessible version of the game anyway. Because it's really cheap on Steam, and you don't need a capture card. You just play it. You know?
Yeah, you just play it. I was gonna say the capture card thing. People, there's a problem with a lot of GameCube games now. Where just like they're expensive, and the only way to get your hands on one is to drop. The only way to become a streamer or a speedrunner of a lot of these games is to just shell out $300, and it's like, man, I could have purchased a new Xbox or something with that kind of money.
Yeah, or like paid rent.
Yeah, like seriously, it's. I was trying to compare it to like other video games, but yeah, you're right.
Dude, you got sometimes you got to compare it to just real life stuff, you know? Like, I mean, as an adult, like $300, it's like, I mean, I have cheap rent, but that's half my rent, you know? So
yeah, it's about half my rent. That's a lot of money is the point. And it's just like, so that amount, the amount of money needed to invest into starting a speedrun is so impactful. Like, I'd love to see like what games who have, you know, Steam availability, how they could compare if they didn't have that, and other games that they did have the availability for people to just like download the game and just play it.
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of games that suffer from that. Like even the other game that I speedrun, Sonic Heroes, just recently allowed emulators. Just very, very recently, like within the last couple months. But before, there wasn't many people playing it, and it's such a sick speed game too. But the thing is you need like a GameCube or a Wii, the game, the capture card. You got to have the controller, and you got to have the computer that's going to be able to handle recording that and stuff. Yeah. To be able to submit runs.
It's a GameCube game, so I'm assuming the disc is $70 plus or something.
It was cheap when I bought it, but I'm sure the price has gone up because I bought it like a couple years ago. But I mean, when I bought it, it was like $35, so that's like not bad. But like for other games like TP, like I know TP, you said something like it's like $90 or something these days.
$90 is a good price.
That's crazy. Yeah, no, that's a crazy barrier for people, you know. So having it on Steam is so nice, especially SA2. Like when SA2 goes on sale, like the summer sale's coming up, it's gonna be like $3. That's it.
Imagine a world where you have to spend $3 to play your favorite game. It's a nice world.
It is, yeah.
It's a nice world.
It's a world we definitely don't live in, though, unfortunately.
Yeah. So to talk about this accessibility, the number one speed game, and it's been the number one speed game for a little while now, Minecraft. That game is, don't need a capture card. Everyone can play Minecraft. But I'm not trying to talk about Minecraft. I'm trying to talk about you. You have a video on your channel where you sharpen some pencils.
Yeah, no, I definitely did. That was an experience for sure.
Would you say it's the hardest speedrun you've ever done in your life? And what was the hardest trick?
Yes. You know what? I'm going to say it. It actually is. Because, no, sharpening pencils with a pencil sharpener that you have to just like, it's like a hand sharpener. It's so difficult. And not to mention, the pencil sharpeners that I had were so bad. So I had to put a lot of force into sharpening the pencils. And when you're sharpening 10 of them, I'll tell you what, when I did the first pencil, I was like, I don't know if I want to finish this. Like, I don't know if I can do it, but I was so committed. There was so much build up for it. And like, I didn't want to let myself down or my stream down. So I was like, I have to do it. I have to finish this. So I did. And wow, was it difficult. Wow, was it difficult. Easily my hardest speedrun. The hardest trick. Wait, the hardest trick, because you said that.
Yep, okay.
Yes,
I did.
The hardest trick was to getting the pencil sharpeners unjammed because they would get jammed so much. I wish I had jam skip, bro. There's always jamming happening. I just didn't have good enough pencil sharpeners for it, you know? And that's
another barrier to entry.
Another barrier. You gotta buy. Honestly, you know, Small Ant, when he does it, he's got like 20 of them, like just ready. I did not have that luxury. I had like 3, and they were all different.
Big guys, just not giving the little guy fair fight.
Yeah, no.
Not having the money for the nicer pencil sharpeners.
I was trying my best. That's all I could have done, you know.
So the reason I'm bringing this up is I have to laugh at that because that is a thing that happened. It was really big. It's really big for Smallland, and it's also your #1 video currently on YouTube. And I want to talk to you about something that I feel like people dislike from like all aspects, but also still do it, which is like not necessarily copying, but doing things that other people are doing, being inspired to do other people. Like I'm sure you were sharpening pencils because Smallland sharpened pencils.
Funny enough, actually, I found the speedrun right before like he like did it. But I mean, him doing it definitely was like, okay, well, he literally just did it, so I'll do it. I actually, one of my mods, Drasami, he sent me like the leaderboard, and I was like, what is this? He's like, yeah, people sharpen pencils. And then like Smallland was doing it, and then I was like, wait, I kind of maybe I can actually try this. Maybe this is something that people would be interested in. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
like,
and it's fun.
Yeah.
It's not like a bad thing. Like, oh man, you guys are sharpening pencils. What the heck? No, it's totally fine and fun, but it is very strange, especially in the speedrunning scene, right? Like all these people are playing these games. It's very, we have like a defined, this is what speedrunning is, and this was just like so different.
Yeah.
Unique. That's why a lot of people were drawn to it. How do you feel like that's the best video you ever put out?
No.
It's kind of like where I'm going with it.
Well, it's weird. I would say for me, YouTube has been very much of kind of just trying different things to see what works, because my YouTube channel is still pretty new. I mean, I only really started uploading stuff like for real about like a year ago ish. And I think it's definitely my best performing video, and I think it's because I mean I clickbaited with Smallland in the thumbnail. I mean that's like I was able to do that because I was doing something that he was doing, and I also had the clip of him like looking at my stream at the end, so I didn't feel bad clickbaiting it. But do I think it's the best? Maybe not. I mean, I edited that video myself. I have an editor now who is way better at editing videos than me. I actually have a video that's coming out soon that I think is going to be the best video that I've ever like had on my channel. So like looking back at that one and just seeing how well it did is kind of surprising. But I'm not surprised, I guess.
Yeah, I was trying to bring up the topic of just in general. I see people at all sizes of content creation being like, dang, I put all this time into this video that I like, pour my heart and soul into this video, but then this other video has this other guy's name on it, so that's the one everyone watches, and I just get compared to them and yada yada yada. And I just wanted to know if you had any thoughts about like that experience in like being a content creator, just in general. You're always being compared to someone else, because no one's original anymore, right?
Yeah, like, no, I agree with that 100%.
We're always doing something similar to someone else.
I totally understand the sentiment of being like 100% your own person, being like the creative guy that comes up with like your own ideas and stuff. But I think if you're really trying hard to maintain that in this day and age, I think you're just working too hard. And like, that sounds awful to say, but because obviously all content creators work hard. We put a lot of effort into like this job, but you should not feel bad about copying somebody else, because if that content is doing well, you doing it like differently than them, like even if you're doing the exact same thing, you're not them. You will not be them. You're your own person. You have your own personality. Even if it's similar, it's gonna be different than when they did it. It's just the main, like, I guess, base of the content is going to be the same. And I don't think that there should be any shame in that at all, because it also helps with growth too. I mean, if
I agree.
Like, I mean, obviously, again, the Smallland video is my biggest video on my YouTube channel. And it's because I copied his idea. If I didn't copy his idea, then I don't think it would have done like as well. You know what I mean? Because it was like during when he was doing it too, grinding it really hard, trying to push the world record. And if you're not trying to do something similar to that, I don't think you're trying hard in the correct ways, because you could come up with a sick idea, but nobody might care about it because nobody has even thought of like caring about it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. You could do something no one's ever done, but it might also end up being something no one's ever cared about.
Exactly.
And it might not be because it's not cool. It could just be they don't know. And how do you get those people to know unless, you know, you have to find the people and like bring them to you. A lot of this was just to see a mental side, because again, I see this with everyone. That's just a video that you have, and it's very common. And there's people on both sides where you get like, wow, that's just a copycat. Like those guys, they're literally just, you know, 2.0 or scuffed equivalent. And I don't did you get like a lot of people coming in and talking to you? Like, did you ever get like, wow, you just copied this guy?
No, but I'm in a unique position where my YouTube channel is still way small. So let's like, okay. I would say the small ant video, like the pencil sharpening video, I guess I should say, that has small ant on it, is it's the only video that I've had that's attracted people that have not really been already subscribers to my YouTube, or people who have been already from my stream. So I don't really get that. You know, I don't really have those people coming in who have like, oh, like I saw your YouTube, like blah, blah, blah. Why are you copying small ant? Like I've never had anything like that. So I can't claim to like know what that feels like. But I feel like even if that did happen, I'd be like, yeah, I copied him. So what? He had a good idea. I did the good idea too. It was fun, you know?
I think a lot of people are afraid to copy people when they shouldn't be, because when you're a content creator, you have to understand that when you do something, it is now public. And when it's public, that means anyone else can take it and do whatever they want with it. And that means they can do it better than you. Yeah. Which is like the scariest part. And that's where like a lot of people get a lot of their retention in the first place, is they'll do something that somebody else does better than them. And I feel like that's like the number one question that people always have when they're getting into streaming. Right? And I'm going to tie this into an entirely different conversation. You recently hit partner, right?
Yep.
Last few months. And you invented speedrunning Sonic, right? You're the first person to ever do that.
Well, no, definitely not. 100% not.
I feel like a lot of people see people like you playing Sonic, and they go, oh, this guy has 100 viewers. I'm going to play Sonic. I'm going to get a ton of viewers. Right? That's all it takes. And it's just like, no, you have to be, you have to do something that's already been done in your own unique way. And that's how you build these communities and these, audiences of people who watch your content.
Yeah, exactly.
And my question really is just coming down to, what do you think you do differently from everyone else who speedruns Sonic?
I've asked this question a lot to myself, because it's weird to like really think about that question if you've never tried to go out of your way to be different yourself. Because I really don't feel like I've done a lot to go out of my way to be something that other people are not. It's just that I think the biggest thing is, at least if we're talking about like maybe Sonic speedrunners in general, there aren't a lot of people who play the game who also have the goal of being entertaining and also like trying to like interact with their chat and like, their community. And I think that is just something that I brought, because like I care about the runs, of course, but my goal is definitely to grow as a content creator. It's not necessarily all about the runs. So I really tried hard to like be entertaining, be kind of funny sometimes, and like really make sure that when somebody comes into my stream that they get noticed and that they like feel like they're a part of something. Yeah. And so maybe I guess I do that better than other people, but the self-reflection part of that, it's hard.
Yeah. I would say I can rephrase the question to more of, why do you think people click on your stream? Like, what do you think you do that makes people want to click on your stream? So it's not really what do you do different from everyone else. I'm trying to take out that comparison to more of just, why would someone click on your stream? Because I think that's a question that a lot of streamers don't have an answer for when they're starting.
Yeah.
And it's a really hard question to answer, and I think it's the most important question to answer is why should anyone click on your stream?
I think it's because that I'm like high level at the game that I play, but I'm also entertaining, you know, like I genuinely feel like I am. And it sounds like kind of full of myself to say something like that, but you know, you have to feel it in a certain sense to be able to live it.
For sure. Confidence is insane, like it's very impactful.
So if you don't feel that about yourself, I think it's really hard for people to like see that, you know, like to see that you're entertaining or like to like want to stay, because like if people don't have that, you can tell just because they're a lot more reserved, a lot more quiet. You know, they're not as, I guess, interactive. I guess the reason why people click on my stream is just because, you know, I'm good at the game that I play and I'm entertaining enough for them to want to stay. And that's it.
I mean, sometimes the answer is just as simple as that. I mean, for a lot of people on Twitch, it's because I'm good. Like, honestly, if I'm sure you had a thought like this too, where it's just like when you're trying to grow, you're trying to brainstorm all these different things you could do. And I'm sure though it's crossed your mind, just get good. It's the easiest way to give viewers is to just be better. And I think that's the hardest way to get viewers, in the sense that like there's always someone better than you.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. And if you can overcome that and become the best at something, that's just the easiest way to do it. But when that's not something that you can aspire to be, you know, you have to find different outlets. So my next question is, what do you have? Do you have anything planned? What would you say you're focusing on content creation? I guess, what have you done in the past, potentially? Other than, you know, this pencil sharpening thing, that was different and unique.
Yeah.
What have you done, like, say when you were like a 30 viewer streamer, right?
Well, you know, even back then, like, I've done different runs before. Like, I've ran different games. Like, I used to run Star Fox Zero was actually my first speed game that I played. You know, but like as far as like different content things, like I haven't done a lot, and it's because like the main like meat and potatoes of my stream has always been like I'm a speedrunner, you know. And my goal, I guess, for like the future is I do see a future where speedrunning is something that is not necessarily the main focal point of my channel, but it's something that I still want to do because I love speedrunning. I love it. And I don't really see a future without it, but I definitely see like if I am to grow and to become like a bigger content creator, that I'm going to do more things. And I've already started to do like a couple of things that were different, like, you know, the pencil sharpening thing. But recently I did this really cool thing where my moderator, Drasami, he lives in Canada. And he sent me, like, we compiled a list from a lot of my other, like, Canadian viewers and friends and stuff of, like, snacks that are Canadian exclusive snacks that that Drasami could just go, like, pick up at the store and send to me. And then I did a stream where I just, like, reviewed all the Canadian snacks. And it was a really fun stream. And, like, it was just random, but it was content. It was fun, you know? So it was just, like... I'd like to do more things that are just like kind of random like that. You know what I mean? Like kind of like
imagining a bag of spoiled milk.
No, I didn't get bagged milk. Thank God. Oh, I would not let them send me bagged milk. No way. But but no, it's just like different things like that, you know? Just like trying new things just to see what works and have a good time streaming. Like I definitely take a lot of inspiration from people like Ludwig, you know.
Oh yeah.
And
it's hard not to at this point.
Yeah, for sure. He's honestly, in my opinion, he's the best guy doing it. And like, that's
yeah,
like,
really
I am biased because I've been like a Ludwig viewer since like, I guess 2019, like early 2019. So it's been a bit, and I've watched him like blow up. He was kind of big then, but like I take a lot of inspiration from him, and I would love to be in a position where I could stream like him. You know what I mean? And just like kind of just have like a ton of random stuff that I do and just like have a good time streaming.
I think a lot of people, especially in the speedrunning scene, think that to get big is all about skill. It's just be the best, right? And to be fair, a lot of the people at the top are the people on the top of the leaderboard. It's, It's definitely the easiest way to get a lot of people's attention. The top of Twitch is not a guy who's at the top of anything. I wouldn't say Ludwig is the best at any one thing that he does. The best thing that Ludwig does is entertain.
For sure.
He's that guy can host an event. That guy can speedrun Mario. That guy can play Pokemon. He can play chess. He can run a tournament. He can. I watched him watch a movie at one point. We were watching the Truman Show. It was extremely fun.
Yeah,
watching
during the
another
subathon.
guy watch a movie. Yeah, and it was just like, you don't need to be the best at something. He wasn't. He started with Melee, and he played Jigglypuff. He wasn't even like a Falcon player or something. He played the least popular character.
There's a joke actually in one of like the roasts of the roast of Hugs or whatever, where somebody said a joke that he's like, or maybe it was somewhere else, but he's never top 8 at an event, or like he got one top 8 at a local or something, and that was like his biggest thing that he's ever done in Melee. So it's like he was never good. Not at all.
He was never good. He used to have like an introduction video on his YouTube that was like him going to a Melee event and playing, and he goes like 3-2. I've gone 3-2 at a Melee regional.
Yeah.
Well, where's my 100,000 sub?
It's just, he has the thing that he's so entertaining. He's so charismatic. He is an entertainer, and it like, I think like I wouldn't compare myself to the same level as him, but I would say for like speedrunning, like I'm not the best at my game at all. I'm not even top 10, not yet. Going to be soon.
11.
Mark my words. But hey, I'm not there yet. So I definitely had to just be more so entertaining than good at the game. And I'm good enough at the game where it's still like impressive to watch. But you still you have to have something that keeps the viewers there, or like draws more viewers in.
You
rather
have to
than
have
just being
your
good.
meat and potatoes, like you were saying.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. My next question for you is where do you think you see yourself if you weren't streaming? I know you don't stream full time. You currently have a job. And then secondly, do you see yourself being a full-time streamer? Is that a goal you have for yourself, or do you think streaming is not financially stable enough at the current size that you are?
Well, definitely not the current size that I'm at. Do I feel comfortable being a full-time content creator? That is the goal, though. I do have aspirations of being a full-time content creator. And like, I could probably, like, I have money saved up. I could coast by. If like I continue my trend, technically I would be fine. But I don't feel safe enough or secure enough in doing that quite yet. But where do I see myself if I wasn't a streamer is really, I don't know. Because school for me, like I'm still in school. I still don't even know what I want to do with like school, because I actually spend a lot of my life playing baseball. My goal was to be a professional baseball player. And like what happened is at 17, I got really burnt out from like playing so much, because I was playing year round. But that was my goal. I was just going to go to some school. I didn't care like where I went. I was just like, I want to play baseball wherever I can, and I'll get like some random BS business degree, because business is so general. And I was like, that's what I'll do. But then, I got burnt out. I didn't do that. I still went to school. But then I was like, do I even want to do business? Like, do I want to try computer science? And then I was like, well, I'm kind of too far behind for computer science, because I haven't, like, my math isn't at where it needs to be to get into this program. So I was like, okay, well, let me try some other stuff. And like, now I'm back to business. So like, I don't even know what I would be doing right now if it wasn't for the fact that I'm streaming and I have aspirations to be a content creator. So I think my goal is eventually to have, my business degree, and just like, then I can do whatever from there. Maybe it would be cool to work in something like esports, maybe, but esports is not very like lucrative as far as like making good money.
Yeah, it's more of a, how do I put it? A job that pays you enough and you enjoy it because you like esports.
Yeah. And I think I would, but I don't know if that's like going to be like what I should do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no one does esports for the money is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know if I'd be doing it for the money, but The thing is like I just don't know what I would be interested in doing with my business degree. I'd just get a job and just live.
I mean, streaming is a business, but that's separate from not streaming.
Mm-hmm.
So in a situation where you are streaming, the business degree can still help, and it's always nice to have a backup plan. What position did you play in baseball? I never knew you were a baseball player.
Yeah, I was a pitcher and an outfielder. I was, I wasn't. One of the things is I was never gonna be like one of those like D1 college kids or whatever that was like pumping 90. I was a right-handed pitcher, which is less sought after. More people want like left-handed pitchers, and I was throwing like in the 80s, so I was good enough to make it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was a pitcher. I started to have a lot of arm issues too. Like I had a shoulder injury when I was like 14, and eventually when I started pitching again, I used a lot more of my elbow to throw. So I was really messing up my elbow when I was playing, which was another factor as to why I stopped, because like my arm would hurt so bad after like doing pitching for like a game or something.
Yeah. Do you think that your competitive drive in speedrunning is in a way tied to your drive with baseball?
It hits like the same kind of like feeling in my brain, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like I get the kind of
fills a void.
Yeah. I think there's no way that in my life I couldn't be competitive with something, because I'm not like a crazy competitive person. Like I'm not always like trying to make everything a competition, but I like having competition because it's interesting and it's something that like motivates people, and it's fun. So speedrunning definitely fills the void. Exactly.
But yeah, it's nice to learn a little bit more about the extra side of like the things that people do when they're not streaming. I think I like on the show asking people about like their stream, like what they're trying to do and how they got there, what they like about it, who they are. Mm-hmm. But I also like knowing like who they are outside of the stream, because I feel like a lot of people don't get to see that unless they, not everyone can be the regular who watches every stream for every minute. There's so many stories that you hear once in 2 years watching a streamer, right? And like that thing about them because you happened to be there during that one time they told that one story. Like I'm sure you've told your life story somewhere across all of your years of streaming.
Yeah, just about, I'd say. So, and it's really easy to miss out on that kind of thing for sure. Because then you're like, it's not like if you tell that story, you're not going to be saying it anytime soon again, because you just told it. And there's going to be people who are like, dude, you just told this story. Like, you don't have to say it again.
Yeah. And then, you saw like parts and pieces of it, right? Part of becoming better at streaming is learning how to fill dead air. I think, one of the other, the hardest part of streaming is figuring out why people want to click on your stream. The second hardest part of streaming is figuring out how to stream to no one.
Oh yeah,
that's the hardest part about getting started. It's so incredibly hard to have a conversation with yourself without it being weird, so that other people can just like randomly show up, because you get a lot more lurkers than I think people realize. Like people click on streams and just like watch for 4 seconds and then leave. Like that's
I mean that happens to me all the time. I'll click on a stream and I'll be like, this dude's not talking, I'm not that interested, goodbye. And then I'll just click on another stream.
Yep. And you just keep on moving till you find someone you want to interact with. And if you know how to fill that dead air, you click, Emerldd clicks on the stream for 4 seconds and he likes you. Yeah. And now this random guy who has a decent audience might rage you or something. Like it's huge being able to fill time with just something.
Yeah.
It's really, really difficult and hard for people to understand, because usually those people watch people with a chat. Once you get a chat, you don't have to do that as much.
Yeah.
And it looks so much more seamless.
I feel very fortunate to be past those days, for sure. But I would say also that I was fortunate that I was a little bit of a weirdo kid who was able to talk to himself. So that was something that, I had the benefit of being able to do that and not feel weird about it, because, like, I don't know, I would just talk to myself. It's just like, it's not like I say anything crazy, but you know, I can have a conversation with myself, sort of, and like, you know, you could have the same thing. Like you could practice talking to your dog at home, or like a cat or something. You know, same thing. Like it's if you can have a conversation with your dog or your cat, you can have a conversation with yourself.
I have, this is again a little off topic. Have you ever caught yourself like narrating something you're doing while you're not live?
Yeah. Yeah, you know, I used to do that. I think I used to do it more. I don't, when I was like, you know, streaming to next to nobody, but I don't do it as much anymore, but it still happens. Definitely still happens.
I'll get called out. The other day I was playing a game and I said something out loud, and then later my girlfriend was just like, yo, did you realize you were like talking to no one? You know you're not streaming, right? I was just like, I didn't even know.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
No, my mom will like be like, who are you talking to? It's like, I'm not, nobody, mom.
It's me.
It's me. Like, okay.
Okay. So the thing that I pulled up earlier that I can't believe I didn't have up is the speed dating part of the show, Speed Dates. I ask every single person the same 10 questions. We get to go on a nice little date.
All right.
Are you ready?
Yeah, go for it.
Speed date.
Go for it.
All right. So the way this works, if you haven't seen an episode before, I'm going to have a question and you're going to answer it, and then we're going to move on to the next question. We have a timer. It's like a speed run, speed date thing, and how we, you know, tie it all together.
How quickly do I have, ideally, do you want me to like answer it in? I'm a talky person.
You want to be as quick as possible, but don't speed up your speech.
Okay.
Is usually the thing that I just want to say. The idea is to get your point across as fast as you can, but not like think of it as fast as you can, but don't say it as fast as you can.
Okay.
So I want to avoid you mumbling into the microphone and me going, yeah.
Word. Yeah. Sounds
But
good.
I'm not going to respond so that we can then get on to the next question, because we are speed running and you want to get a PB.
True. All right.
So 3, 2, 1. Are you a morning or a night person?
Night person.
What would you describe as your perfect date?
Something where there's a lot of conversation, not something like going to a movie or something, like maybe going to somewhere where there's like nature or something and like taking a walk or something and talking about stuff.
What is your biggest fear?
Dying alone.
What is one thing on your bucket list?
Going to Japan is somewhere I'd like to go.
What is the grossest thing you've ever eaten?
It was this weird pop-up restaurant that had some sort of noodles that in the sauce they had like mashed up anchovies or something in the sauce. It was actually disgusting. I didn't know that it had it in there, but I think that's the only thing off the top of my head that I think was disgusting.
If you could visit any place in the world, where would it be and why?
I already said Japan, but I mean, that is the answer. It's because the culture's sick. I like the food there a lot, and a lot of the, even just like the nature, like a lot of the mountains and stuff are really pretty. So I'd love to visit there one day.
What is your go-to karaoke song?
Ooh. I feel like the Don't Stop Me Now is a good one. That's a really good one, and I love singing it by Queen.
Who would you choose to play you in a movie about you?
You know what's really funny is when I was a kid, somebody they would compare me to young Taylor Lautner in Shark Boy and Lava Girl because he said I looked like Shark Boy, or they would say I looked like Shark Boy. So maybe an older, it would definitely be more attractive, but a more attractive Taylor Lautner to get me. Yeah, I think that'd be perfect.
What is your favorite guilty pleasure?
I guess soda is kind of a guilty pleasure because I know it's so bad for me. I've been trying to drink it a lot less, but I'll still get it. I'll still drink it from time to time. But it's so bad for you.
What's your favorite way to spend your time outside of gaming?
I guess it would be enjoying music. I have a guitar behind me. It's like barely ever like in view because my chair's there. I like to like sing and like play guitar. I can't claim to be super good at it, but I'm good enough to like play chords and stuff, so I can look up songs and like play them, and just vibing out, learning some new songs sometimes is really fun.
Nice. And that is the end of the questions. It's just 10. I pulled these off of like speed dating sites. So I went to a bunch of speed dating websites and I tried to, you know, curate this list. Something that I do need to adjust, and I'll make sure to do this for the next season, is that the place, the visiting somewhere always comes up twice.
Yeah.
The bucket list. I've always expected people to be on their bucket list like, oh, I want a Ferrari. Before I die, I want to have a Ferrari. I want to be in a Ferrari. And they're just like, no, I want to visit this place. It seems cool.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that traveling is something that's so insanely impossible.
Yeah, I mean, especially right
like,
now, but I mean, traveling just in general is so expensive, you know what I mean? So it's like definitely one of those things that has to be kind of on a bucket list, because you are going to spend, especially if you're going to like another country, like thousands of dollars on that trip. So
yeah. I also think just like I could go on a tangent for so long about the current state of like the economy and how little you make until you are like in your career position. Like the difference between like a minimum wage job and like an entry-level career job in terms of money is so insane. You go from like living paycheck to paycheck to just like I pay my rent and get $1,000 in savings every month.
Yeah, that's nuts.
It's a similar thing on Twitch, right? You know, a guy who gets 100 viewers might get enough to go full time, and a guy who gets 300 viewers might get not necessarily triple you, because you just get so much more opportunity. Like the wealth is exponential to a degree, because then you start getting sponsorships, you still get the same amount of growth in terms of like subs and bits,
the people
like
the people at the top will just make like they have the big thing is opportunities, like you said, like because like they have the potential to make even way more money like when they're up there. Like I mean, if you look at somebody like Ludwig, again, he has like a sponsored stream.
By Bose?
He had a Bose sponsored stream, like a Smart Talk or something is one of the sponsors he had.
It's
and
crazy.
Like Slim Jim, like whatever, dude. Like he just gets tons of them. But like obviously somebody who's like, yeah, like I'm like a 100 viewer streamer, but like I doubt like I'm gonna be able to get sponsorships from those kinds of companies. You know what I mean? So
I mean, the real question is, would you drink Fireball out of Ludwig's concave chest?
Dude, I mean, if I have to, I will. I'm not against it. I'm not saying like I'm sitting here dreaming about it, but I definitely would if I had to. You know what I mean?
It's not on your bucket list?
No, not on the bucket list, dude. I mean, maybe something
it's
like
somewhere on mine.
No, getting like maybe like a drink or something with Ludwig and like having a conversation. That'd be sick. That'd be something on the bucket list, but definitely not taking a shot out of this man's chest hole. I don't need a shot out of this man's chest hole, dude.
That it was just a really good tweet, okay? And no one even has on their bucket list, I want my braless wife to bring me a sandwich. Like, not asked for, by the way.
Not asked for, by the way. I can't believe Ninja made that tweet and he thought that it was like, he looked at it and he was like, yeah, this is a good tweet, and then just sent it. Like, what?
To be fair, it's a really good tweet, ironically.
Yeah,
if
but he
wasn't
didn't
being
mean for it to
completely
be
serious.
No, he was being serious. That's the bad thing about it. It's like somebody, I don't know, somebody like on his team or something, because I know he's got a team of people, should have just like, they need to confirm tweets, like verify that they're okay before he sends them.
He's had two now. This one and the it's just a game is such a bad mindset. That one was super good.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure those are both like common copy pastas now, and I love it.
Yeah.
I love Ninja.
I loved the tweets after that everybody made of the braless wife one. I think I even saw yours too. I saw you make one too. It was great.
You can't pass it up, dude. It's too funny. We are wrapping up the show. Again, thank you so much for joining me for this. Means a lot. I hope you had a good time.
Yeah,
Do you have, closing thoughts? What's coming up next for you? You're trying to get top 10? You're 11th?
Yeah.
Do you have a new game you might be picking up? A new video about to put out?
Mm-hmm.
Plug yourself. what I'm saying here.
Right. So you guys, well, first off, you guys can follow me on Twitch and subscribe to YouTube. It's the same. It's EMERLDD. So Emerldd with no A's and two D's. Look, I tried to talk to Twitch about changing it. They no mega lulled me. But
The links will be in the description as well.
okay, sick. But as far as like stuff I'm doing, yeah, I mean, that's the main thing I'm doing is grinding for top 10 in Sonic Adventure 2 right now. Potentially trying out some new speed games, maybe Wind Waker in the future if I can get over my MSS wall. Maybe some more Sonic games. There's supposed to be a new E3 announcement about either some new Sonic game coming out soon. So I'd love to be playing that. And
That could be huge.
yeah,
The
exactly.
Sonic community.
We haven't had a good
Apparently they
Sonic
all
game in
suck,
forever.
so maybe this one will be really good.
Yeah, well, we hope. We can only hope that it's okay. All right, that's the best I can hope for. But yeah, that's about it.